Hello, hello, hello. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Long time since the last stream. Very long time, actually. I don't know, it was like 2 weeks or something like that. It must have been almost 2 weeks, I think. Welcome, welcome. Yeah, I didn't feel like streaming, and there was stuff going on as well, and yeah. But I still did a little bit on the side. So what I did is I worked a little bit on this. It's not done yet, which is basically a file browser. Then I did a bunch of things in the edit bar, which it seems like I broke or what? How did I do that? Create shader instance. Oh, that's new. Path is empty. What kind of node are you? Depth extensor. Really? Why would that be the case? Pretty sure that worked in the past. Famous last words. Let's see if deleting the cache helps. No, it doesn't. But I do have the shader here, right? Should be this one. What did I change? I definitely did something, but I'm not sure what. Get the asset meta. Sky shader. Pre-depth. That ends in 8483. What we want. Why would we want a different shader? That's bizarre. What did I change? Okay, nothing here, of course. But we're still... Oh, I go there. Guess entry point. And then... init... probably graphics. That looks fine. Although... it doesn't... oh, okay, well, maybe that's fine. It needs to go to... RHI. We register the shade, okay. That's weird. I didn't do anything there. Oh, why did I delete that one? Wait, is that correct? I don't think that's correct. Okay, that looks a little bit better. Okay, yeah, that was it. Why did it show the wrong shader though? That's weird. I don't even know how I deleted it. Well, anyways, I did as well, like this view at the top here. And this view here where you can control the camera now. And this view controls the grid, so you can rotate the grid now freely. And you can change as well the scale of the grid. So now it's like fixed at 10, doesn't scale. But if it's auto, it scales again. So you can limit that as well. So that were the most, like the biggest changes that I did. As well as, yeah, this work in progress here. It's basically a file explorer or asset browser with like filtering here and filtering here for the file name. This is asset type filtering, and this is like name filtering basically. You have here navigation as well. Anyways, that's not what we were going to look at today. I had an idea that I would want to try. Which is, previously I thought I would need to generate the mesh for rendering and for physics. I want to try something else in the next couple of streams. And we will do the first step today, which is we will go to our volume system and basically comment everything out, more or less. Because I think I would want to try something else. So it's basically, I think, up until here. Now we comment everything. Now we have terrain settings, terrain runtime, we can leave for now. Yeah, all of that is more or less stays the same. And the only thing we do is name space render. Kinda. And we will take a couple of things from... I think we mostly take kinda this. So it's that, and we need... Yeah, we need that. Well, we probably can kinda copy that system, I think. More or less. Although, yeah, we probably don't really care about this init flag here. I think. Well, technically that would be nice, I think. But for now we can't just do it like that. Can I not do it like that? I guess I can't. Well, we will figure that out later, and then we have this here. Probably... well, we don't really need that. So that is load shaders, fine, I guess. Well, it is probably just a load shader, to be honest. And then that one is all useless. I think that would be in it, right? And then basically do another system here. Which is basically that. Where we don't need this. I don't think we need the asset system anymore. Just need to queue the rendering. So that would be this, that would be init, that would be random. So asset system now, and then we have the rain settings component. Probably, yeah, it's const. And then we have, oh yeah, the rain runtime component. Perfect. We. Oh, okay, it's the generation component. Whatever. So I guess it's this. Okay. I think we can copy a couple things from the other load shaders. It will be very similar. The only difference is we will not do any of those. Find ray traced. Yeah, I don't think we need that. Or find the terrain panel. Okay, then I mean I guess we can leave it. So I guess it's just those. Although we probably can get rid of defined as well. Probably. So then this, I'm pretty sure we can get rid of as well. Now we have loaded the shaders. And then I think I'm just interested in ray trace terrain. And in find ray trace and a new one. Okay. So it's this, and then here render terrain shader is valid. And if all of them are valid, we're done. And then in this system, technically, I guess we wouldn't need to do anything here, but basically would queue here the render. Which I'm not sure how to do yet from the external point. Oh, that would be, yeah, okay, that would be a little bit more interesting. Well, yeah, there will be a little bit of more stuff we need to do probably for this to work. Because terrain is a little bit special in that sense here. But I think we can ignore that fact for now. So actually then probably nothing here. I think the only thing we would do somehow push the stuff. Don't we have a preview terrain added? Brush size. But don't we put other stuff in there? Oh, we don't. Okay. That's really just the operation. Interesting. Okay. That sounds... How would I handle that? Because currently I did the material and a mesh. Technically that's not really what I want anymore. So I guess we would do graphics, system, get render graph. No? Oh, it's not in the render graph anymore, right? That's one interesting, yeah, okay. How do I do that then? Because this one, was it just updating directly or what? Or is the streaming? Oh, it was actually, yeah, okay. Ah, that sucks, okay. Alright, I had that simpler in my mind. But I guess it's that simpler. Based on how my system works. Well, hold on. Am I not? No, I should be able to. Graphics. System. Wait, is it? Where would that be? It's not static mesh render task. Static mesh system, maybe. Am I not? Queued render. And I get... Oh, I get a frame context. Okay. That's what I want. Not the graphic system. Oh, okay, okay, okay. That makes more sense. And then from that frame context, I can probably get nothing. Great. Shouldn't I be able to get... Shouldn't I be able to get my... I mean, I guess we could put it in here. But then again, wait, doesn't volume have... Does it not have a render task? Guess not. Oh, I mean, I guess it does. Yeah. So I guess we could do that. We could add a new one here, render terrain. Or like terrain pass. I'm never sure what I would want to call it. Let's call it volume terrain pass, I don't know. Okay. Basically, we copy that and we more or less paste it in here, but not really, I think. Do I need 2 in, 2 in, 1 out? Why is it 2 in, 1 out? I think it's probably 1 in, 1 out. At best, it's like 2 in, 1 out. Volume terrain pass. Let's do actually 2 in, 1 out, I guess. And let's do texture handle, texture handle, texture handle. And let's get rid of that. I do think that should be lowercase. I think it should be that. I'm not sure why that would be in there to begin with. That is basically the render target. It's a depth target, I guess. And we have 1 out. Hey, side B. As a render as a gameplay programmer for R6, did you get much freedom independence? It was a bit of both. Most of it was done by designers, but we could come up with ideas and then it's like discussed with them, and so there were a couple of changes that came from us, the coders, but I would say 60-70% was from the designers, and then most of the time we just play tested and gave feedback as well and stuff like that. But most of the ideas came from designers, I would say. But there were a couple of especially with like some reworks of like gadgets and stuff like that. Some of those came from programmers. But it was most of the time as well a little bit of a group effort, right? You go into a meeting, brainstorm, and then everybody throws in ideas, and a couple of them get tried, like with an implementation. And then you take what actually is fun. So I would say that's actually more accurate. That a lot of ideas came from all different disciplines. Exactly. And then you implemented them, tested them, gave feedback again and stuff like that. Yeah. Texture, and we have this here. Yeah, that should be fine. And then what do I put here? I guess it would be the struct volume graph. Maybe. I get that's the shader instance handle. And that's the shader we render. Does that make sense? I don't know. Guess we will find out. Guess we will find out if that makes sense. Volume, terrain pass. Now we don't have a shader here. We get one from outside. Or maybe fix doesn't make sense then. Wait, what is static mesh render task? What is that? It's just a render graph shader node. I think that makes more sense then. We should be as well just a render graph shader node, I guess. Do I need anything implemented then? I think I need an enabled. Yeah, exactly. Is it not const? Why would it not be const? That's a mistake, I think. I think that should be const. But where is his enabled? Should be pretty sure that should be const. Wouldn't know why it wouldn't be const. Oh god, that's a lot of... Actually, we should do that now while I'm here. That will be pain, but Yeah, we should do it. Rename all those functions. Yay. Okay. So that would be definitely broken in a couple of places then again, as usual. But it's better this way. And yeah, that's the plan for the whole... I hope with the 06 I can get everything and don't miss something of those Clang reformats. If I do miss something, that would be unfortunate, but happens. I would definitely miss something. So did that now work? No, of course not. Probably because it's not marked as is enabled. Okay, yeah. Yeah. How does that static mesh render task decide that? So where is my... Okay. Where is my... is enabled? Here. It just returns true. Great. Exactly what I would want. Not. I guess we could implement something here that checks if we have a shader. Maybe that's not needed, I don't know. Let's see. For sure we need this. Volume, terrain path, on render. Get rid of that. Yeah, we definitely have push constants done, but for now let's keep them empty. Not quite sure why I would do the depth texture separately. Why did I do that? Well, probably had a reason for that. And then we do push constants that find the triangle, but shouldn't it just be 3? Yeah, it should just be 3. I'm not sure why I did 6. Yeah, shader. Alright. Here we get context basically. Graph. Get input. It's pretty similar to, is it in debug draw task? No, grid is probably better. Grid task, yeah, exactly something like that. Just that this is a volume graph. I guess we could do volume mesh. Volume. Volume terrain instances. Let's do volume terrain instance for now. We don't have more than one. We probably would want more than one, but for now, let's do that. And then basically what we do, so what do we do in static mesh? Render task, we need to do exactly the same here. So we need to bind the shader effect. And that's about it, I think. Is that it? Just bind. Do I not need to do some setting? Oh, maybe not. Maybe it's just that. So it would be command buffer bind shader effect instance. Something like that. Then we have the push constants here. And then we do it. And the push constants are fairly simple. It's just this. Well, we need more than that. Need a few constants as well. And I think that's it. Right? Because we have the camera here and then we have the stuff that we need. So debug draw task maybe. Is it here? Yeah, kinda. And then this is volume sources list and volume sources data, and that probably should be in here. The question is, where is that? Volume terrain? No. It's probably here. No. Where is it? Terrain panel. Terrain oak tree. What is it? Terrain word oak tree component. Okay, but we get already predefined buffers here. So I guess... Oops. That would be RHI. I guess it could already be the raw handle. We don't really need to... That's fine. Volume sources. And RHI. Volume data. Instance, volume, sources, and volume sources data. Maybe. Maybe. So the question now is volume terrain system. Frame context. Oh, we don't have the graph here, which is very unfortunate. Is that here and where the problem? Or how do I do it? I thought I do get... the render graph here. I do get the render graph. Oh, don't get the render graph, never mind. Okay. Question is, how would I want to be able to get the render graph? I guess it would make sense if we can... I think for now what works is probably getting the game core system here. I think that should work. And from now on we can then get the scene. Wait. Oh, does it even work? No, it should work, right? Oh yeah, we do have game core already here. Oh. Okay. That's why. That gives me I think it's a scene handle, right? Yeah. I mean, I guess it would make sense to get the whole scene already, but whatever. I mean, it has to work because we are in a scene, right? So can't not work. And then from there we can get the render graph. And from there we can then say get input volume terrain instance. Yeah. So what do I need here? I want to probably just read. Don't need to read the settings. I don't need to, well, I need the generation component. Yeah. You want to read that? Terrain word octree, yeah, that one. But we don't need the runtime. We don't need anything else here. Volume objects and then instance. Volume objects data. That should do that trick for now. Let's see where we are with that CMake build. That will actually, well, yeah, that will partly not work, right? Because we don't, I forgot one thing as well. What? Let me. So the plan would be today to change the volume renderer to use ray trace terrain, and then I would want to change the physics to basically as well. I mean, it's not ray trace, but kinda ray trace the terrain. And I do think that would be kinda nice. Oh, is it generated? It's generated, or yeah. Okay. Render terrain shader. So yeah, the plan is getting back to streaming again slowly after the 2-week break. And hopefully get something. I think my new approach for the terrain kind of revigorated me a little bit. The old one didn't really like too much. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. That was obvious. forgot something here. Which is graphics. I think it should be renamed, but whatever. Volume terrain pass. And we have the same here. Volume terrain pass. There is a lot of things that I would still love to do for 0.6 of the engine. Let's see what we can get done. So again, a little bit, yeah, because of my motivation going a little bit down, a little bit of a slower version. What? It's here. Undefined reference to VTable. I've never heard of that. Cool. That's a new one for me. What? Shouldn't that... Or do I need to have the render... No, the render graph shader node is here, right? Yeah. What exactly? Onyx volume. That looks fine. Actually, this doesn't look fine. That one is... probably like that. But why? What the hell? I've never heard of that. Let's see what the internet says. But shouldn't that be fine? Wait, graphics. Oh no, graphics is fine. Render graph shader node. This is render graph. That goes with node with policy. one goes to node, which has a virtual destructor, yeah. I'm confused. Because the preview terrain edit is exactly the same. Except for this. Do I need that? Maybe. Do I need that? But why would I need that? If that's the case, then I'm confused. Okay, yeah, it's not. Volume terrain pass. And volume terrain pass. More than am I missing a function maybe? Setting mesh render task. I don't think I am, or begin on render. Looks fine. What does that mean? Oh wait, this I'm stupid. It's this one. I didn't implement that one, right? Probably that one. The arrow could be better, to be honest. Kinda missed that. But yeah, I think it's that. Yeah, okay. So I think, okay. But that won't do anything yet. So I think what I would want to do as well is we go in here. Data. Shader. Volume. It's probably that one actually. Kinda. Well, yeah, I think we will copy that one. Maybe. Well, it doesn't really matter, I guess. Render terrain, I think it was. Or shader. And I think we would want to copy. Hey. What do you mean? Yeah, I mean, maybe. Let's see. I have an idea, but I'm not sure if it's the smartest. But I guess we will find out once we have it, and then once I have it, and once we are able to test the performance. But I have an idea. So basically, currently what I did is I generated a mesh for the whole world with like LODs closer to the player and further away from the camera. It's less detailed, and that has the downside that I need to regenerate the mesh every time the camera moves, or like with some threshold. So I was wondering, the only reason why I chose that approach was because of physics. Because for physics I need a mesh. But I think I found a way to bypass that. But let's see. So the first step now is changing the terrain to render the actual STF with a ray march approach. So we are getting rid of the mesh on the GPU, and then we will do the same kind of thing on the CPU, basically for physics, where we write a custom collision shape for Jort, which I already saw that it supports, where we basically sample the terrain. And I think that should be good, but I don't know what the performance of that is. So we will find out, I guess. What? Thank you. Ray trace terrains. I think it's more or less kind of that. Yeah, it's probably closest to this shader. Well, or at least we copy a couple of things from here. So I think we copy this at least over. Render terrain. So I don't think I need that. I need volume sources. I need sample. I don't need that. I need maybe print. And I need for sure that. And then I can get rid of that. And we go here again. We take this. We bring that here. Oh, we had it already, never mind. So we have that. We'll probably bring that in. We get rid of that. We have an out color. And then it's pretty much this. The terrain. It's this. Okay. Yeah, kinda. Just need to get rid of all of that crap. Get color, get wire. Okay, so that's that. We sample the terrain, and then if we have a hit, for now, what we will do is maybe just write out the color for now. Something like that. Heirs with discard. Probably. And that should be fine. Yeah, not sure if the 512 here is good enough. We will find out. Maybe? It's for sure not. And it probably doesn't work. So first we would need to add that thing to our render graph. Open. God damn it. Data, render graphs. And then the thing is, it's probably best to add it before the static mesh actually. It's probably here. And then this goes in here. And we need the depth target. Wherever it is. Oh, here. Well, actually, that kind of sucks, right? Can I delete that again? Well, it is what it is for now. Let's do that. I don't know. That might actually as well horribly fair, so let's save that as a new one. Oops. Okay. App config. Well, actually, scene editor. I think we have default render graph, yeah. Does that work? I guess it doesn't. Oh wait, but Well, I mean, I guess it kind of works. Does that loop it through now perfectly? Probably not. As usual, I probably forgot stuff. Actually, not. Wait, why is it rendering red though? Shouldn't that not render anything? What did I break? What the hell? Why would that be suddenly a different color? So I mean, what's definitely wrong, probably, is if we go here. So I assume that my blend and stuff like that is wrong. So output attachment for sure is a reference that I'm pretty sure is wrong and missing. Volume terrain. But is that good enough already? I don't know. Might need more than that though. Don't I need some blend operation? So that is weird. Why would it do that? Oh, unless I'm taking the wrong... Unless I'm taking the wrong image. Could that be that I'm binding the wrong image? Oh yeah, I do. That explains a lot. If I bind the depth target, that kind of breaks it. Yeah, okay. That was the depth target, not the like the normal render target. Yeah, that's on the list of 0. Well, I'm not sure if I can do that in 0.6, but yeah, the render graph is a little bit of a hack between two old, like an old system and a new system, and now it's like a little bit all over the place. Okay, but that kinda worked. So let's see what happens if we add now volume terrain. Then we break. Perfect. That's exactly what I would have expected. Because probably the shade is not correct or something like that. Create shader, load shader. Oh, it's not in compute, right? It's not in compute, it's in just shaders, volume, render terrain. Would be nice if that just fails without crashing, I think. Okay. That makes kind of sense. Wait, what? Oh, wait, my shader probably didn't compile, right? Did my shader compile? M shader has the scripter set layout. So I guess onload finished. Shader instance. But it does have something. Or does it not? Or is that maybe garbage? No, that looks fine actually. Find ray traced octree node shader. Okay. And it goes in here and then here this M shader. And that looks fine. As the scripter set layout. Okay, that more or less points that we call the garbage function here. Onload finished. Do we actually destroy? Don't. So I think what we would want to do is oops. M shader get unloaded event, disconnect this. So I guess it has to be something like that. Maybe, but why did that not fail before? Is another question that I don't really understand. Does that now work? Probably not. I think that might not have been it, but maybe it has been? No. See, that's so weird. One load finished and then now we have one in pipeline. Do we not do the same thing here? Yeah, I thought I'd do that. Huh. I am so confused how this never, like how this breaks suddenly. What is my property? No, not property, but I have a name, right? Don't I? Yeah, not really, maybe. Render terrain. But it's not failing. It's just that. Why would that fail? Wait, are we maybe... No, we only do that once, right? We only car that once, right? It's like one? Why do we car that a second time? Okay, that's probably a mistake. Probably I need to do that. But I think the shader instance unregistered is still correct. Okay, so card it once, and that's it. But why is that still a problem? Properties. Oh wait, is it maybe? Oh, I don't have a render path, right? Is that it? That's probably it. Material shader graph serializer. But it's actually better to probably do a different one. But I guess we could do that. Guess we could copy that for now. Okay. And then that one would be pipeline properties. Something along those lines. More or less. Okay. Yeah, now we bind that here. And then we crash. Oh, because we don't have, yeah. Okay. Because we need to do more. Oh, where? Yeah, we need to do more. Well, I guess we don't necessarily have to do more. What's it? Wait, is that? Oh no, otherwise we return 0, right? And 0 is probably not the correct address. The question is, well, I mean, I guess maybe not. Maybe let's just fix that we actually create the buffer. Where are my volume sources list and volume sources data? So it's those two. So it's here, we load everything, and then here is where generate our buffer. I think that should be better now. Is that everything? Probably not. And then the other question is, I'm not sure how to include now the correct material shader for the terrain. Although it's probably anyways a special one. Unfortunate, why? Shouldn't that be something? Shouldn't you be a correct? If has loaded shaders is false. No, that should be fine. I'm not quite sure why that would fail. Wait. Oh, wait. Okay. I see why. Without init terrain flag. Is that all it? Oh, it's remove component, right? Yeah. Does that not work yet? I guess I never had that. I mean, I guess what we could do is well, for now, is that we need instance, well, not instance, terrain, volume objects. Is that not a buffer handle? Should I not be able to do something like that? I don't have any usability here. Why do I not have that? Nobody knows. Actually, I think I want to remove that overload, but yeah. If that is valid is false, then we return here. And that should be a little bit better. But why that without not work does not work yet? This is what a little bit of a mystery. But I guess I didn't implement that yet. Or I did, but it's probably not, yeah, probably not correct in the template that it generates. The depth is probably wrong as well, right? We might see the grid through the terrain and stuff like that. If it even works, which it seems it doesn't. Which is kind of weird. Shouldn't you have hit this? Oh wait, is it maybe never? Find rate. So we are initializing how many shaders? 3? Defined ray trace terrain shader. Oh, we don't initialize that one, never mind. It can never work. So that should hopefully now trigger the breakpoint. Okay, well that one is... Okay, yeah, we now trigger that one, which is perfect. Now we trigger that one. And we keep doing that probably, but we are not. Okay, we are hitting that. But it seems like we are not doing anything here. Render terrain. So we definitely sample this here. And then shouldn't that already be good? Or do we have a problem with the shader here? But then I think we would have gotten an error. So I'm wondering if we might not do everything correctly here. Well, I'm giving it sources list and sources data. That looks fine. Yeah, I think I will do the next steps tomorrow. We need render doc and look at what the shader is like. Well, I mean, I guess we could quickly check, but I think I will still call it a day afterwards. Still, we can check what render doc gives us. I forgot that I still do that. Yeah, and then we render that. And there should be, yeah, there is a terrain pass here, but I assume that does nothing. Yeah, which is kind of weird. That looks fine. Okay, that looks fine as well. Yeah, I would probably need to look at. Hey, Rizoma. Hi. I probably would need to see. Do we get something here, for example, right? For like here. Which is probably not easy to debug, right? Because we don't get any output here. So I guess we didn't hit anything. Volume terrain pass. Backface card. Backface card. That is weird. Do I even give it all the render targets? Doesn't look like it, right? Is that maybe the issue? Then I would need to do depth render target pin. Is that? Oh no, that is actually just linking the two resources. But maybe I need to do that as well. Never done that, I think. But I'm not sure if that's the reason. Probably not. Actually, what happens if we do where is my share? Right here. Compare operation. Or let's do depth force maybe. just to see what happens. Okay, well, that didn't do anything. Maybe let's do car mode none. Then never, I guess. But that's a little bit guessing. Oh no, it's not. Okay. Yeah, okay, that it's still a little bit off, right? But we can see that we hit stuff. Okay. That makes sense. I guess at that point then it's as well the distance here. Render terrain. Let's do, I don't know. No idea what a good distance is. Why is this happening? Is there an early out or something like that? So that's interesting. So we do get but yeah, there's still some weirdness going on. Because the further away I am, it doesn't seem like it's shooting array for every pixel or something like that. I don't know. And it seems like it's kind of limited. Seems like regardless of how far I shoot, it just stops. Which is kind of weird. Which makes me think something's off. Because that doesn't sound correct. So probably something wrong here in the sample thing. Anyways, with that we will call it a day. We will continue tomorrow and let us see what's going on here, why this is shooting rays wrong. Because it seems like, yeah, it's always a sort of fixed length. What I see already is that it's kinda expensive. So that's maybe not so good. But then again, it didn't make a whole difference between those two settings, right? Yeah, because it still does the same amount. And it still does exactly the same behavior. So, yeah. Not sure. Alright, we will do that tomorrow. Thank you very much for joining. I will be back tomorrow for real. And yeah, hope you have a great rest of your evening. We will continue with this and hopefully find a good version of this ray trace shader for it. Thank you, Rizoma. Have a great rest of your evening. Everyone else as well, of course. And see you tomorrow. Take care. Bye bye.